Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to Pine Pass in Cities Skylines, where today the name of the game is going to be University. That is going to be my main focus. Last time we unlocked campus areas, so I guess not University. Trade School would be more appropriate. But we are going to work toward getting that campus area in. But I've noticed a few issues. While I was kind of scouting out locations for the trade school, I noticed something. So my plans have always been to have kind of a pretty high density area over here, and that's fine. Not a problem. And we're going to have a lot of resort up here with the high density, and we're going to have a nice transit hub down here at the coast. But I've noticed a couple things. One is this highway does not connect to this highway. So to have the city just function, I mean, just straight up, just have it be able to function and have people be able to get between the two sides. Well, that can come off that highway, but to be able to get from here to over here, we don't have that connectivity. So we're going to have to look at somehow introducing a highway back here, and I think the solution will be to make an interchange here that feeds over to here and connects kind of where this rail is. We'll have to do something different with the rail, and then have an interchange somewhere over here that will then on this side feed off to collector or an arterial of some sort, because I think we are going to do an ore industry back here eventually, or maybe up here, but I think we are going to have it just a secondary industry for the city. A slightly lesser concern is that our two rail networks aren't connected. I don't know that that's as big of a problem, simply because we could have this one here that comes away from up there and snakes down and then exits off the map that way. We could reserve that for cargo. And since this is going to be transit oriented over here anyway, that would at least keep our cargo and our transit networks completely separate, and that's not a bad thing. So we may not worry about the rail being connected. We may just leave it alone, but that's all a future problem. But I was kind of just going through looking at our train heights and seeing what do we have where that might make a good space for our trade school, and it was this area that caused me to discover that the highways weren't connected. I thought about maybe flattening a pad over here, but then we run into a problem. We could maybe do, I don't know, something that, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this little stub of a road. It's serving us no purpose right now. We could maybe do something that cascades up, terraces, just have a level here and then a pad here. I can't come through and just flatten it. And if I do, well, I can show you what will happen if I do that. We'll go with a pretty big brush tool. That's too big. Well, let's kind of split the difference. This is higher than down here, so we'll go like here off the middle. And that's fine for this area, though we do wind up cutting into the hill down there. But if we bring that back up, that way you can see what we run into. And then the same thing happens over here. Not to the same extent, but look how much higher that is than the highway. And, of course, the surrounding buildings. And that's not good. That's completely unacceptable. So we could do a trade school over here, but we would definitely have to do more of a terraced approach to it. Maybe bring a bit off of there and then come down here, and then the highway dips away. But we can fix the highway. I'm kind of curious. Bear with me while I just look at something here. Eventually we're going to have an interchange over here. Yeah, even that's a significant change in elevation way over there. So our highway over here poses a bit of a problem. So instead we would want to maybe bring in a pad here, but then we want to run right back into the same problem of what do we do with this? Smooth it out. But then we lose a lot of valuable land doing that. Though that's still a pretty good chunk, I guess. And then back here, same thing. We would just want to kind of pick a spot and level out a pad. And then we would have to come through and just kind of touch all that up. Not ideal, though. I don't think this is the ideal location. Plus, the problem that this presents is eventually when we do have an interchange, either here or here, I still haven't decided which one it's going to be. I want to bring this collector out just a little bit more and then into a T so that we can come up here where the forestry industry will probably eventually relocate. Sterling Davis has his eye on this land. I want to bring it to a T that comes up here and down and around, have a major arterial or collector through here that ties in to our interchanges over here. But I also want to be able to bring it up and around this way. Not that we're going to do a whole lot with this land. And again, it's just because of the topography. It's not really suited to a lot of development. It's just not. I mean, we could have maybe some small little neighborhoods just dotted into the area, but for the most part, we're not going to do a lot right here. It's too much elevation change. But I do think there would be some merit in having quicker access to the highway connection over here instead of forcing everyone to go up through the industry and back down. So that kind of rules that area out. Of course, this area would make a great spot for a school, but I'm really thinking about industry for that. There's already ore in the mountains. We could use the ground resources and add in some ore. Not the height of realism, but hey, I'm playing a video game, not designing a real life town. So it's fine. And that's not a knock against anybody who goes for ultra realism. Not at all. Let's undo all this that we did a minute ago. If I have enough undo steps, there we go. Cool. So then the other area that we could look at would be maybe doing a riverfront trade school right here. Then I think the campus would wind up spanning such a big area to be able to fit it all in. Plus, we don't have as much space here as it looks because it does start sloping down to the river quite quickly. I have, in just sandboxing this, kind of tested out with a neighborhood over here and kind of brought this up. And it's fine. But I don't really like what happens to do that. We wind up with just an incredibly high riverbank. I mean, that's way above the water. I just think it looks better how it was. Let's go back into this so I can undo all that nonsense. There we go. I mean, that just looks better. It just does. So I don't think I want to build over here. So that then means we're right back to where we started, right here. This is a trade school, so there is some nice synergy with the industry that we have right here. That's all industry right here. We have some demand for industry, but we're going to meet that with offices in just a little bit instead of more industry. We could go up and over the highway, or maybe even if we need to, under the highway to span the campus to both sides and maybe bring out this road network a little bit, though I would really want this to be a collector. So I guess we could go with a 2-unit 4-lane road, and that would take care of it. We don't need the collector coming back this way. So I think that over here is our best solution. We could maybe get away with taking up some of this land here for the school as well, and maybe bringing some, like a bridge across, and maybe right here where we already have a road. That might be something we could look at, or even here with a bit of a curve. But I think that this is going to be our best area. We've already graded this out a bit in a previous episode. So I think this is where we're going to go, but I am going to get rid of the roads that we have. Because I was originally thinking about this for residential, and that's why we curved along the shoreline. I don't think that's as necessary. What I do think is necessary is going ahead and getting ourselves a little bit more space here. Just a skosh. We are going to, again, run into some problems right up against the highway. those are problems that will get sorted out once we get over here to doing some work on an interchange here. Well, that's now at grade. And that's going to be kind of nice because we can bring the highway in at grade and then have a bridge over. So could work. Could work out quite well, actually. Before we get started on the trade school, though, you're probably thinking, Brandon, come on, man. We have a pretty good demand for everything. Unemployment's only at 5%, so that's not too bad. But we really don't have a whole lot of room to expand at the moment. Not until we really start getting into this highway improvement and maybe be able to get some local roads off here. We may need to somehow bring in, like, if we're going to come across here, we can maybe make this a 4-lane and come across there just to handle the traffic. And that could loop back in and maybe tie in and come back around. So this isn't just a cul-de-sac over here on the edge of the water. But I think if we bring in an interchange here, I mean, that would probably come out to about here with all of the on-ramps. And then kind of just hug in close to this railroad. That leaves us a lot of land over here. So we can develop there. But what I want to do, and again, because it's a game, I want to rezone, repurpose some of this land. Simply because we now have offices available. Granted, we don't have the workers for the office, but I do at least want to look at what we can maybe do through here. We'll rezone it after we get the trade school up and running, because right now, if we build offices, we don't have anybody. Somehow we have 2% highly educated. Maybe they moved in that way. I don't know. But we don't have anybody that could really work in the offices. So let's get started over here. And to do that, we want to not click roads. We want to just first paint a campus area. And we are going to just come all the way over here and come right along the shoreline. I don't know that we're going to use all this space. We might not. One of the things I do not like about the campus DLC is the attractiveness requirement. Because you wind up having to build a lot of either extra capacity that the city doesn't need. And so you wind up with a school that has a capacity of 8,000 in order to meet the needs for attractiveness to get it up to 5 stars. Or you wind up with a lot of the decorator buildings. And I don't think either solution is really ideal. I wish I knew more about asset creation. I would just make like a fountain that has like 1,000 attractiveness for the school. I would. And I would be fine with it simply because I think it's kind of a ridiculous metric. I've said it several times that, especially with like a trade school, yeah, it's nice to be able to attend school in a campus that has a good aesthetic. And you certainly, would think about that. I know I got my associates at a trade school. And it was a good looking campus, and it made it a nice place to be. But it wasn't as nice looking as the state university, that was just a few blocks away. I'm trying to think of how I want to do the roads here, because I want this set back a little bit off this road. So we're going to just bring this back just about right there. And we're just going to have our admin building just right here at the start of this. And I think that'll be good. So we want to bring the road in right there, right here. And we're just going to bring this right there. We're going to plop this guy right here with a little offset. Make sure it didn't do anything too weird back there. Nope, looks pretty good. And boom, we now have Orchard. Oh, that's really hard to see. What's it? Orchard College. Nice. The city can't really afford to do a lot in the way of academic staff at the moment. But we can, since we've got money in the bank, afford to give grants. And that is exactly what we're going to do. And I thought that would have been connected, but it isn't. Now it should be. Now I just want to come in and figure out what we're going to put where to get this school up and running. And that's all that's going to be there. So I think I want to come down another 1.5 years, so 900, and bring this back and have our first big academic building, scholar building, is that what they're called? And this will help our police, and we're just going to back that off. Let's look at this view. Can I? Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to do this, but I think we can get away with it. I just want to set back a little bit. We'll have to do some work on the train, and that will give us 1,000 capacity right there. Granted, we don't have anybody coming over here yet, simply because we haven't done that. Now we will encourage more students to actually come attend the school. So that gets us halfway to what we need. I'm going to speed up the game so that we can see the numbers tick up here. But we have in town nearly 3,000 eligible students. Now, I do something that not everybody is okay with when it comes to building the schools. I tend to build them, get them upgraded to 5 stars because I like the extra income that comes off of having a 5-star school, and then tear it all down and rebuild it in its like final form, where it has all the attractiveness it needs and all of that good stuff. I know that kind of upsets people at times, however, but oh well. You don't have to build yours that way. It's just how I like to build my universities. Well, trade school in this case. I keep forgetting that they're not all just universities. So we're going to bring that off of there, and then we're going to come over here, back out straight, I believe. Yeah. And we're going to bring this over 3. It's really hard to see in this view, so we're going to get out of it. Bring that over 3 and bring that up. And I'm fine with that junction. We're on a campus. It'll be okay. And then we're going to come through here and put in some dorms. But I want to get like one at each edge here, just to see where this would need to go. That's right, I'm trying to build it on a road, and that'll never work. So I want the dorms set back off the road so they're not just right up against it. So let's go over by 2 from there and bring that just straight up. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll back it off by 2, maybe, if I can. There we go, get in there. And I believe we should be able to get our dorms in back to back here. So now we're going to take these off of the road and put them on the path. I'm going to come up here, because this is going to be the one that will kind of dictate how far over we can really go. I would like these to line up nicely. We might not be able to get these back to back. That's unfortunate. I thought we were going to be able to, but that's not quite enough space. If I would have backed them up right against the road, that would have worked. So instead, that's fine. We can just do this. I believe that should fit there just fine. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll back this off. Can't quite see if that's where I want it to be or not. That's about where I want it. We'll back that off, and we'll do just a little quad here of sorts. We're going to get our capacity that we need. And we will also deal with the water and heating issues in just a moment. And then we will bring another one in right there. And a final one in right here. And then in the center, I think maybe once we get the outdoor study area, we'll be able to get that there. So we now have a capacity of 2,900. Just barely outside of our demand in town, but we could probably get that by bringing in a book club. We also, for attractiveness, want to bring in groundskeeping, and I just want to kind of tuck that out of the way, but there really is no out of the way. We'll kind of go back here with it, and I think that'll be fine. Let's get some heating and water in so these guys can stop complaining. I mean, I would complain if I didn't have any heat or water too, so, you know, I'm not knocking them for their complaints, but they are complaining nonetheless. So, that gives us 2950. I think that's good enough. We have 2966, 2965, and that will just keep dropping as citizens start going through. our school. So what I want to do is let this run for just a few minutes and get a number of people through our education pipeline. I wish there was a way to see this, but not have it be in that view. I know I've done that before. Like, can't remember how I did it, but there is a way to bring that up without using hide it to have this weird view. But we're going to let a few citizens get educated, and then we will move on from there. So I guess what we can do is come here and watch our number that are coming through, and also maybe even get an upgrade or two. So let's let this run for about 5 or 10 minutes and see what our population looks like in terms of education. And as I bumped the mouse, just as we went to a academic year, sorry about that sudden jarring there, we've gone through 2 full academic years. And during that time, the city celebrated its 10-year anniversary. We have a couple of issues that popped up while this was running. But before we look at those, I want to look. So before we built the university, somehow we had 2%. Or the trade school, I keep calling it university. We had 2% of our education, or of our population, that was highly educated, or whichever it is. Highly educated. We're now up to 37%, which is good, which is very good. Elementary capacity has come down. I think it's because there's an elementary school on fire. Yeah, there's an elementary school on fire. That would do it. But we've got now 37% of our citizens that have graduated. And I said at the outset that we were going to look at rezoning some things. But I don't want to do that until we get to 9,000. Because I don't want high rises. So instead, we're going to have to see about some other solutions. Before we can do anything, though, we have a problem. Our one and only cemetery is full. We do not yet have access to any crematoriums of any sort. So we need another cemetery. Question is, where? We don't really have anywhere that we can put one at the moment. But since we do have such demand for residential, I think what I would like to do is see about... Well, that is really, really low. But I don't think it's unrealistic. I know when I lived in Branson, Missouri, the highway, when they upgraded Highway 65 to... It was just a 2-lane little meandering highway. They split it and made it 2 lanes each side, sometimes even 3. And I think there's even some places it goes 4. I could be wrong about that, though. And they just blasted through the hills for the most part. So I'm okay with having that embankment leading up to there. What I would like to do is come through on this side and get ourselves... You know what, though? That's not a huge elevation change. I may just live with that. But I want to bring this road on around. But first of all, I do want to go ahead and formalize that this is a collector through here. And we'll do that with just our 2U full-lane road. Was that one way at some point? No, it's just because it's going that way. I understand. And then I want to bring this road in. Do I not have my step twos on? I don't. Let's bring this road in. I want to back it off the highway about that much. And we're just going to mirror the highway here. I could use the parallel road tool, but this works as well. And then I want to bring this on around and into here, but I don't like that connection that's making, so I'm going to go to here. Actually, instead of doing that, let's use our mod. I don't know if it's going to let me do this because of... Oh, well, okay. It's fine with that. Yeah, and that brings that in nicely. And then I think we have just enough room to get maybe a block or two in here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we have to do it on this side right here. But we're going to come through with just some basic little roads here. And I want to go back into that view because I don't want to get too close into this hill back here. But I think we'll start here and come off just one block like that. And then we'll go down. I don't want to have too many connections through here. To about here and come up a block. And then we'll do just about the same distance, just kind of eyeballing it, honestly. And then I should, with the freeform tool, be able to make a decent connection through there. Yeah, that works. And then here we can go ahead and start working our way into that area. Not all of this is going to be a quarry, so we can take some of it and use it for residential. And then here we're just going to straighten it out. So we're going to have some weird things happening, some irregular blocks. I don't want to get too close that way, so I think we're going to limit it to right here. I can't, you know what? I don't need this at the moment. Go away. I can't see my line. There we go. So we're just going to bring that out like that. We're going to continue this road up at that angle. So definitely some interesting stuff happening, but I kind of like it. It means we don't get a whole lot right in through here, but this might be a good place for maybe some city services. I don't want to go right up against the highway. I want to leave a little bit of a buffer, just a bit. So let's get some water pipes brought in back here. Oh, that's why I turned off all my snap twos, because I was doing water pipes around the curve earlier. So we're going to do that again. Turn that off. And I find the easiest way to get them to stay into the road is to look for these gaps between zoning and go right in the middle. It's just the easiest way for me. You may have a better solution. That's the one that I use. So this one's going to be a little tricky because of the angles. But we can get it connected, and then we're going to have to go here for the next connection. That's not straight, and I don't like it. There we go. So that leaves this area back here not connected, but it's something we can deal with. Right now, we're just trying to get a few more. I know this isn't going to get us up to 9,000, but it's going to get us on our way. So the thing is, we have a lot of capacity in our schools and everything else. You know what? Let's take care of this death care before the city just dies. I think this will be fine right here. There's a little bit of a dip right around here somewhere. Yeah, I think we'll be all right with a cemetery right there. And it dips down there, raises up back in that corner, but I think it's okay. So those hearses will go out, and we can start taking care of this death wave. Let's see, how many people do we have right now? Oh, it's only 132, but in the town of 6,500, that's a lot. We aren't getting as many births right now. That could be due to the death wave, but we have been using our child care and elder care. Yes? No. We don't have any of these anywhere in town. You know what? I want to add a child care center. And I think a good place to do that would be, it's going to interfere with what we have going on here, unless I can squeeze it into one of these corners. I can't. So we're going to mess with our little area here by the parking lot, but that's okay. I think there's a nice synergy between the child health care center and the elementary school. So we're going to go with it. And we'll fix this path real quick. We'll bring this up. We'll bring it in right there. And then they can cut through and get to the blocks that way. And that will at least increase our births. I do believe that's one of the effects it has, right? Yeah, increases birth rate. And offers health benefits to children and teens. So that's good. I'm surprised we didn't have that already. I know that that's not serving a huge portion of the city. But that's really about the only place we can get it. And really, it's just serving this area over here. So maybe there is merit in bringing another one in over here. But again, we're going to run into the issue of losing some housing, maybe? No, we could sneak it in right there. And that, we do lose housing, but it doesn't interfere with any of our paths. Doesn't quite cover all the way over to there, but it gives us good coverage back into here. So I kind of like it, and I'm kind of okay with taking out, what, we're losing 3 houses? Yeah, let's do it. I think that'll be a good benefit in the long run. Oh my gosh, this death wave is bad. Anyways, we were speaking of education. We have capacity, but this is so far removed. I mean, to go to school, they would have to come all the way over here. But I guess in a town of this size, that's not unheard of. So I think I'm just going to roll with it. So we do have a bit of commercial demand, and we're going to meet that. We're going to bring just a little bit in along this frontage road here. Just a bit. And then we're going to look at our services over here. We have a fire station there, and I think, even though this is a big cul-de-sac right now, it's not going to be eventually. I think for now, we'll just call that good. We may struggle with land values. However, healthcare, I think, is going to be, we don't really have the best healthcare options out this direction. So we are going to bring in some healthcare. And then police, again, we've got coverage there and there, but it doesn't come out to here. But there's going to be an interchange here, and that's all going to tie in together. We'll probably wind up doing a bridge or going under the highway there. So I think I'm okay with just leaving it as is. What we will do for this area, however, is in this little spot back here that's a little wonky, we will give them a nice large playground. In fact, I'm gonna redo that. We're gonna bring it in here, because what I can do is then grab this path connection. Let's turn all these off, and we can bring a path in through here. We are gonna lose a little bit of zoning, but at least this way we've got a nice path connection that comes all the way across, and I like that a lot. So that gets us a little bit of commercial. Let's get in some residential as well. In through here, let's look at our train heights again. I'm okay with zoning in there, but I think I want to do some smaller lots here so we don't cut too deep into this hillside. And then that's at a dip, so that would be fine. There we go. I think this should be all right. And then we are going to have some houses here to compensate for the fact that they're right up against the highway. We will give them slightly larger lots. So you get to build a bigger house, and you get to listen to the highway. We will put some trees and things in, and maybe even some sound walls to deal with that. I think we would benefit from a little bit more residential right there. Leave a little gap. Residential and commercial. You know what I meant when I clicked the blue one. And we'll bring this back here. And I think I will do just a bit more commercial right here by the clinic. And then the rest of this will be residential back through here. Though here I want to target it a little bit. These guys are going to be right against the path. Oh well. They'll live. And then Bring that to there, and then right there, and then fill in like that. And I think that's good. And then let's look at our elevation here. So right there's good, and this should be fine to do all that. So cool. That will get us a bit more population. We don't have water. Oh, you're just outside of that. Man, I really hate to have the redundancy through here, but I think we have to do it. So to get us a bit more population, we are slowly starting to take care of the death wave. We are down to 91 people. All 10 hearses are in use, and each one holds, what, 10? 5? Something like that. I don't know. So they'll get it cleaned up in time. And, of course, we're running on a very slow speed. What I want to do before we wrap it up, though, is just kind of watch this area, see how it fills in, and then take a look and see how that has helped industry. Because they were struggling to hire people, and therefore a lot of it went abandoned. So hopefully we can get that industry to rebound. But let's watch as this all fills in. So it's filling in nicely, and we even have some upgrades that have taken place. We've got some level 2 and level 3 homes already. Of course, land value will hold us back. Land value out here, not the greatest, but it's there in the middle, and that's fine for now. I'm completely okay with that. We could add maybe a little bit more just to continue meeting this demand. By coming in back here, leaving room for our road expansion in the future, and maybe even a few little homes down here, just to give us just a bit more. Our death wave is slowly but surely getting resolved. It's not as bad as it was. We're down to just 49, so it's already halved what it was. Granted, that means that this one cemetery is taking up a lot of the cycle. That's why I didn't zone back there, because there's nowhere to put the pipes. I forgot about that. So for now, we have to have redundant water pipe again. So better than having people leave. And before we wrap up, just want to see, yeah, we're still struggling with the number of students. So there's no point in building a lot of extra buildings or even capacity at this point. We don't need to worry about the attractiveness till we reliably can get 800 students in the school. So for now, it's just going to kind of sit here. It's not, the city is kind of granting about $4,000 a week. Is that per week, right? I think it's per week. To the city or to the trade school, and that's fine. The city can definitely help with that educational need. And hopefully we can get this in the next video up to closer to our 9,000. I think we're going to fill in, so we're going to bring our collector out, bring it down, and fill in this corner. And maybe get a bridge across and fill in some of this land. And of course, we also need to look at our nature reserve and see about getting that upgraded as well. We still have our city park. It needs some more entertainment value. I guess we can take a look at that real quick. What do we have available? We could throw in some gazebos, I suppose. We're down to 561. A gazebo has an entertainment value of 60. So just 2 of these should do it. So let's see. If we throw in a gazebo right over here by the playground, and then get the brown one and come over here to the other side of town and throw in one there, and that did it. Now we have climbing frames, which is kind of what I've been hoping for. So we do have residential back there, so we're going to give these guys a climbing frame. We'll back it off to about there. We're going to get one worked in over here. Oh, wow, they loved that. Upgrades galore. We're going to work one in over there, and we're going to come over here by the playground and get one more. Actually, right here in this bit. And that will definitely boost up the entertainment value of the park. Yeah, we're good to go. As soon as we get to 10,000 visitors, we'll be at a level 5 and have the... what is it, trampoline park? Yeah, trampoline park. Death Wave almost completely resolved. Just a couple more here. Big demand for residential, but the cool thing is we've just boosted land value back here by a bit by adding in those amenities for the park. That one gazebo is really doing some work for us. That alone did some work, and of course that guy there is helping out as well. So not shabby at all. We've added quite a bit of population. In fact, let's look real quick. And I keep saying one last thing, but yeah, our population, our low point was 6,400, and now we're up here at 8,142. So we've done good work today, friends. I have enjoyed this episode a lot. Just small little things that make a big difference. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and get subscribed if you're not already for more Cities Skylines, as well as a variety of other games that I feature here on my channel. And it's been my pleasure to bring this video to you. I really appreciate you watching. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.